My Wi-Fi here in this room quite weak, so bear with me, okay? It's happened all the times. Dear respected Thầy, dear Sangha, today I don't have my sister Phúc Nghiem. She's busy because she will go to to Bangkok tomorrow, so she has to prepare herself. Just will say that the topic for today is how are you, but actually he missed out the very important word in the topic is how are you today. So today is important. I just I just want to ask you, say, how are you today, my dear friends? Okay, you okay today? It's the end of the day, but it's just like when we hear somebody ask, when we hear somebody ask and say, how are you? We just have automatic response. Is, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine, you know. And then you pause a little bit and think how you are. Is it happen to you most of the time, or just like you have just like automatic response? You say, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, thank you. That is a very how I call traditional answer. So you have to check again. Do you have the automatic response? Like, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. So somehow, you know, when somebody asks you like that question, it's just like a greeting. You know, when you see your friend, yeah, that's the first question. How are you today? And somehow, if you just ask how are you, it means that, oh, you know, like yesterday and then today, and you feel okay. But today, when we learn the Dharma, we count today only. We don't count yesterday. You know, yesterday is a different story, but today is a very important. So the question is that, do we have a chance, a proper time to really truly feel how you are? So that's why you don't have to wait until somebody asks you this question. So I invite everybody, when you wake up in the morning, you know, we usually learn that, oh, we wake up, we smile, and we read the Gatha. Before you do that, ask yourself, how are you now? So it's just like the language we call appropriate attention. You use the language, we use the word, really direct us to that, what to do in that right moment. You not only smile, you know, when we do, we become automatic routine, you know. Even the practice become automatic, become a routine. So just like me, when I wake up, the only thing that I I realize I'm aware that I always do is take a deep breath. But I'm not, it's later I realize that also realize even I take a deep breath when I just wake up, but I already started to think. So when you, if you can, you do that, you smile and take a deep breath, but also you asking yourself, how are you now? So it's really make yourself really focus on one thing to check you how you are in the first moment of the day. Do you think you can remember to do that? It's easy, right? um, I think that, for my practice, I do that, but it depends on if I didn't have a hard time yesterday. If I have a hard time yesterday, I forget it. The first thing I remember when I wake up is the old story from yesterday. So you have to try to do this despite that you're happy or you're not happy or you have a hard time, you have problem from yesterday. So try to put yourself, your mind, really be awake and alert at how you feel, your energy, your well-being in the first moment of the day. So usually somebody see you, how are you today? But when we ask ourselves, we say, how are you now? So if you can do that often in a day, so this is a way of checking in. You don't have to wait until you feel exhausted. It's too late. But if you keep doing this more often during the daytime, or even you do this in the first moment of the day and during the day, and then before you close your eyes and go to sleep, to get in the bed, lie still, take a deep breath and smile and ask, how am I right now? The awakened way of living is not like in particular time or particular position or particular location that we practice. For me, that you have to be aware or be mindful or be conscious throughout the day. So you can maintain your awareness most of the time, because if you wait until that you have a sitting meditation time and you're aware of yourself, maybe it's a little bit too much to handle, too much to calm whatever in your mind. For me, it usually takes me half an hour really feel how to really tranquil my emotion, my thought, my bodily activity, even I in a sitting position. So it takes me a long time, if that day is a busy day. So whatever you do, whatever you thought in the day, it takes time to sink down. So that's why we need to asking ourselves, how am I now, more often during the day. So if you feel, like your mind is so stressful and your body is tense, if you ask that question, you practice the appropriate attention. You guide your mind, just right, be in the moment. And check in yourself is how you are in that moment. And if you feel stressful or you feel tense, you know what to do. The only thing you do is just relax. Just few minutes. And a very simple practice. And I believe that you have heard of this. But the thing is, the practice needs to be continuous, every time you remember. And this is you know how to take care of yourself. It doesn't mean that you can solve the problem or you can heal this and that. It's not. But at least you are present. And the key for our practice is to be present. You don't have to do anything yet, but you need to be present. So this is a very simple practice for us to practice. How am I right now? From the first minute of the day when you wake up, during the day, the whole day, before you say, okay, I turn off my phone, I turn off the light, and I go to bed, and ask this question again. Take a deep breath and smile to yourself. Whatever need to be aside, put them aside. And if it's, the thought coming up again and again, just take a deep breath, and you don't have to pay attention to them. And I guarantee you will have a good sleep. Because sometimes we engage in our thinking mind too much, so that's why it's hard to relax. So when you do this, you have to be honest to ourselves, but you don't have to criticize or judge yourself that you don't do it well, you don't practice well, you don't take care of yourself well. It's nonsense, okay? No judging in your practice. It's just like you go to the, you're driving on the road, and if the road is uneven, is rough, if shake your car, you just be there for it. You don't say, why is like this? Why the car cannot stay still? You cannot ask the car to do that, right? But after that, the uneven road, the road comes smooth, and you just be aware that it's, the car, goes smoothly. So the same to our mind. If it's rough, we just be there, that we know that it's on the rough road. And if it's smooth and light and happy, we recognize that it's that state right now. You don't grasp it when you're happy. You don't reject it when it's not light and gentle the way you expect it. Because you know why? Because we're human. We have to deal with a lot of things, and our mind is not, we're not enlightened yet, so we're not calm all the time. We cannot be still all the time. We'll be triggered. So this is the way we stop and take care of ourselves. Can you do that? Okay. So I invite everybody to close your eyes. Okay. And you can ask yourself, how am I right now, silently? So please let the light of awareness fill your whole body in silence. Okay, thank you. You can do this. You can do this tonight, because make sure that you have to know how to start of how you check in. Check in, like first you ask us, first of all, you take a deep breath, ask, how am I right now? And that's it. And then silent. And start to feel. Let your awareness, your alert, feel your whole body in silence. It's just like when you have a muddy water, a glass of muddy water, you have to put on one place and let all the mud sink down. You don't stir it up. So the act of put the glass inside on one place, that is the silence. The silence that you don't have to say anything, just feel it. So you can feel how short, how long of your breath. You can feel the nerves, you can feel the heat, you can feel the energy in your body. And with the breath, it calms down all the activity, bodily activities, or the mental activities. But the key is really important that when you practice this, you have to be totally silent. This is how you're checking in. After you ask yourself, how am I right now? This practice is simple, but if you really wholeheartedly practice, you can feel your body, your mind, your state of mind much clearer. And usually the thing is, I guess, usually we get stuck is we talk, we judge, we react to how we feel, and we react to our mental formation that arising in your mind that disturb things more. You really not really let your whole being calm down. You can do this more often. The more often, the better. So the key is you have to be totally in silence. Just feel it and recognize the reality without judging. Reality of our mind, reality of our body. So we don't have a discriminative mind. If it's good, we happy. If it's bad, we're sad. So without judging, we keep our mind calm down and breathe. The more we in that state and we practice breathe deeply in the first few breaths, but the rest of the breathing, just let it be. So this is the stopping act to take care of ourselves during the whole day. And remember that you have to train yourself. It sounds simple, but it's not easy to remember to do all the time. That's the problem. People come to Plum Village practice. They say that Plum Village practice so simple. Yes, it's simple. But you miss out the very important key, that you forget to do it often throughout the day. So this is how we check in the present moment. And sometimes my mind is still such a mess. Can you imagine? It's such a mess because we get stuck with a lot of ideas, a lot of notions, a lot of views. It has to be this way, it has to be that way. And I say, oh my God, I say, how can I be free from this, And someday I realized that I have so much resentment. And I confess, I still have, do have them. And so you're not the only one. I am still human being. So I still have them. And I'm thinking that, like, what can I do with it? Do you have the same like me? Do you still have them? Yeah? A lot. We still have jealous. I still have jealousy. I still have resentment. I still have complaining. I still have all kind of things. Does it surprise you? Oh, sorry. But I learned from my mistake. A mistake that, like when we learn the sutra, the Buddha said, don't trust your mental formation. Don't trust your perceptions. But this is a hardened mind to say, no, that they are true. You have to believe it. And we learn and we act and we react, we live based on what we think so much. We base on how we act and we live on our perception so much. And So I found the way out. You know, the key of the practice when you get stuck, you have to be curious. Are you a curious person? Are you curious why I was stuck all the time? I don't like it. But I know I've been curious. I know that there's the way that it will be suitable for me. I cannot learn from other people's way. You have to find that way out for yourself. I can share my way, but maybe it's not suitable for you. So that's why the Buddha said that, you know, as a practitioner, you have to believe in the awakened. The Buddha is the awakened one. And you have to trust that he's a fully enlightened person. In order to believe, or at least you take his teaching into your heart and practice. So this kind of guidance, this kind of teaching is stuck in my head. I say, if I get stuck with the form, I get stuck with my mental formation, I get stuck with perception. But the Buddha said that don't trust them because they are impermanent. So this kind of thing is just, you know, stuck in my head, create some kind of conflict, what I believe and what the Buddha taught. So I'm a curious person. I test myself. Say, okay, I totally believe that the Buddha is fully enlightened, and I trust that if I practice according to his teaching, I will see the result by myself. I can feel the practice in me. So the practice is mean that the Dharma is mean the Buddha's teaching is just the theory. And our responsibility as a practitioner, we have to transform that theories become a living Dharma. You have to make it a living things in ourselves. And that is just, that's why the more I be curious, I feel the practice so wonderful because I can find the way out. And I'm doing it, you know, when after I found out that it's so wonderful, that it doesn't matter that I still have a very negative mental formation, but I still have the choice. What is your choice? You have a choice to behave or react in a compassionate way. You have a choice to be a good practitioner, that you don't do the way people respond in a negative way or in a harsh way or in a very cruel way. But you have a choice to live, you know, with a good heart and kindness and love. So you have, you know, your what you do, it has to be based on the true love. The 4 elements of true love is compassion, love and kindness, joy and inclusiveness. So I have this kind of negative mental formation. So what? I still can do, you know, based on this is the 4 elements of true love. What I do, what I think, what I feel, or speak, it contains these 4 elements. I don't base on my negative mental formation because they very impermanent. And the Buddha said that don't stuck with it. And when I practice, I say, okay, my speaking, my acting, my thinking will not base on them. I will base on the 4 elements of true love. And it works. So you have to ask ourselves, what is your choice? You have the choice to do. So it's that make our practice more alive. It's not a dead thing, because if you cannot make the theory become a real thing, you make the Dharma dying. The Buddha's teaching, whatever you learn, dying. And this is everyone's responsibility. That is our job. That is how we say that I can test the wonderful Dharma. And it depends on each of us. I can show my way, but maybe it's not suitable for you. But we still have the same problem, right? So maybe it's this way is suitable for me, but it's not suitable for you. So you have to find what is the best way that you act, whatever you speak, or whatever you think doesn't base on the negativity. And you have a choice. Try it. So you don't have to believe me, but you always say that you have a choice to do it. And you have to find out what is the best way for you. So next time you can tell me what is your choice, okay? What is your way? And we share, okay? This will be very interesting. Just like if you check the self-reflection questions that I sent to Will, did you send to everybody? Okay, so I thought of this question a few days ago, and based on my practice, and I see, wow, this is such a big questions, real question for each of us. Okay, so what I shared before, that let yourself check in and feel yourself, and when you calm enough, and the next step, first step is make yourself to be calm, and the next step is allow yourself to accept yourself. Okay, allow you to accept whatever it is, how you are. You're angry, you're resentful, you're happy. That's a reality. You have to accept it without judging, without rejecting, or without grasping. Because we always searching for happiness, yes? But the thing is, the more we searching for, and you have, on the way of practice, we rejecting the bad thing and we grasping the good things is not the right practice. So the Buddha said you have to go in the middle way. So no grasping, no rejecting. So just accept how you are. So I'm asking you right now, do you accept who you are and what you are right now? This is so important. I'm a very sensitive person, and I can send people, if they did bad things to me and if you hurt, And as I'm trying to do that and transform that kind of personality. So I need a lot of gentleness on myself. The way you feel, you accept yourself, you need a lot of gentleness and kindness. Without these elements, you can harsh, or you can very rough to yourself. You can pressure yourself a lot. So you need a lot of gentleness and kindness to how we are and who we are. And after you accept who you are, and now is your job to expand the space in your heart. You cannot do just like a bowl, your heart not a bowl of water. You have to make your heart to become a river or the ocean. So to accept things better. So you can see we can start from a very small start, but if we continue to practice, you can see that we can. There's a lot of job, a lot of we still have a lot of work to do with ourselves. How to spend space in our heart, but you need to be accept who you are first, and during the time you expand in space in your heart, you just feel it, but you have to know that you have to use your breath. You have to use breathing. That's why in the Anapana Sati Sutra, the fully awareness of breathing sutra, every you have 16 exercises, but we always start with breathing in. I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my body. So breathing is the key. But you don't have to say that I'm breathing in or I'm breathing out. But the breathing is just our best friend to support, always there to support us, to be there, to take care of the heart, a tough work. Just like you always have a best friend beside you to help you to calm yourself, to accept yourself, and to heal yourself. So this is, you can feel your breathing to acknowledge deeply the space that you're expanding. You can feel, you can feel like your heart expanding the space. Because, like the way that you can look up to the sky, you can see the vast space, and you can feel that space, a vast space in your heart. And remember to send love to that space. That space, when you look to the sky with the beautiful blue sky with a light and white cloud and the cool air. So it's the same when you feel that space in your heart and you send love. You can feel the energy in that space. Can you feel it? Use your breath to feel it. So that's why the breath somehow is just like be there for us, but we forget. Yeah. So, but everything, like when you send love, you send with your mind. You don't say anything, or you think that, oh, I'm sending love to your, to my heart. Just you feel, and you send love with your mind, your whole being, without a word. Okay. Just like when we see somebody you love, you don't say, oh, I'm happy, but you just feel it. The same when you send love to your heart. Okay. So this, all kinds of work like this, all kind of practice like this, you need a calm mind to do it. And you can do this practice during your emotional storm. This is how you check in. So this is that's practice. I just share with you that you can do that any time of the day that you remember. Okay, that's why the more you do, you repeat it again and again and again, it becomes a new habit. You do until it becomes habit, without you have to remind yourself that, oh, I have to do it. Okay, you do just like when you go to bed, you say, oh, I have to brush my teeth. You do this kind of practice, simple practice, just the same when you have to brush your teeth before you go to bed, or when you just wake up, you have to brush your teeth. Otherwise, nobody will talk to you at the same. And you should not underestimate this simple practice, because it's the core that the breath can bring to you, the silence during the time that you feel, So I hope that you remember to do, and remember that you have a choice. Trust yourself. Okay. So the next thing is, I would like to, according to the self-reflection questions, you can make a report for at the end of the year. You still have 24 days before a new year start. So based on the report, make a report, it's just a report, it's just a report, okay? No emotional in there, okay? No emotion or or judgment in your report. And this report is just like, okay, I make a report to, okay, is how we've been doing this year by answering that list with honesty. Okay, don't fake your answer. Okay. Or you feel ashamed that, oh, I cannot, so honest. But the thing is, the practice works only we are honest to ourselves. Bad, we accept is bad, and we still get stuck. We say, I am still stuck. Okay. So you do that report, and it's very nice that you can base on even you make this report by answering this list of questions, and you can share. You can share how you've been practicing. and how much you have improved your practice. Yeah. So for doing this, you have to do it. Remember, you have to do the report with tolerance, honesty, love, kindness, gentleness, and compassion. Usually when we look at the question, you say, oh, I get stuck everywhere. All the questions are still very stuck. And I cannot find out that I didn't see that improve at all. The more you realize how you are, you have to love yourself more. Okay. So a report is just like you just state all the fact without any resentment, shameness, or pride. So actually, I will do to myself also because this list is for me. I have to offer my report to my Buddha. And at the end of the report, before just right after you finish that report, just you smile to it, because that report is kind of part of you. Okay, you smile to it, and also you smile to yourself with all your heart. Somehow it's just a practice just like that, very simple. And after you clear, when you do a report, it means that you know where you are. You can say, I'm ready for the new year. I know where am I on the practice, where I know where I get stuck. So I say, okay, how can I emotional engage in my practice in New Year? You have to know that emotionally engage in the practice is mean that it's not only you use intellectual mind to practice. You engage with your feelings. You engage in the practice with your heart. You engage in the practice that you know that this is the only way that I can bring about happiness and freedom for my life. That is emotional engagement. So somehow it's very good that we use the right word in the practice, a more positive way and more proactive way, So remember, in the fully awareness of the breathing sutra, say that you have at the beginning of the sutra that you have to go to the empty place or at the foot of the tree and sit down with your crossed leg, erect your body. And the next sentence is you establish mindfulness in front of you. Okay? It's not the space. It's a mindfulness in front of you is mean that, okay, you just really be aware what's going on in front of you. It doesn't mean that. Okay. It means that the mindfulness, you have to make it as the first priority, a number one in your list of the practice. It's the key for everything. That's what it means, mindfulness. And you establish mindfulness in front of you. It means that you always be aware. You really focus on what you're doing. And first of all, you start with your breath. Feel your breath. That is the exercise that I just shared with you at the beginning. So mindfulness is my number one priority job. Nothing else. Okay. Because I know that it helps me to live my life in a conscious way. It's a mindful way. I have to know why I have to do that, right? So I see that there's some important keys when you take care of yourself, your mind and body. So for the mind, the challenges or the difficulties that we have to encounter during the practice relate to, if you have to check that, do you still have, first is desiring mind. You still want things, desires. Thinking mind. Are you a thinker? A moody mind, like this. Complicated mind. Your mind is cloudy. You have to check, because somehow the way we think, the way we perceive things is based on this kind of mind. If you have complicated mind, you see things very complicated. If you have moody mind, so you're up and down a lot during the day. And remember that if this kind of mind, you can recognize it by a mental pattern reaction. It becomes pattern of your mind. So you have to check it in. So or this kind of minds, I think that I see my mind is still thinking a lot. And when I live with the brothers here, the one thing that they complain a lot about the sisters is the sister is so complicated. I said, I don't like it. Why is the ladies complicated? Well, we have so many ladies here. I said, so why the sister is so complicated? And so they say, oh, that's the nature of women. But I try, during my practice, I will try, to be more or less complicated. But I see that the boys complicated too, but they deny it. But it's okay, they take care of themselves. And you have to know that our body, our health, physical health is, affect to our mind a lot. Even you have a very happy news, but if you got sick, everything you see is your sick body. You forget the happiness that you have right, in that moment. So make sure you do enough physical exercise. So as you have to, everybody knows that body and mind are one. So if Thầy Pháp Tử say many people has complicated mind. He just sent it to me. So it's when you sick, when we are sick, we expect people have to care for us a lot. We're very emotional. And somehow say, when you're sick, I take care of you. When I'm sick, where are you? This is the first thought. And I believe that it's not only happened to me, it's happened to a lot of people complaining. So, well, to avoid that, we take care of ourselves and try not to complain if people careless when we're sick. And you encounter, you will have to deal with it. So that's why to reduce that feeling, so you be more caring when people sick. So you feel much better. It doesn't mean that you when you care for them, you say you have to take care of me when I'm sick. Okay, that's a deal. It's not like that. Okay, but somehow we expect that. But when we're sick, our body's sick, we feel down. So that's why we need a very strong and determination that we don't live on our feelings too much. Okay, our body get well soon. And that's natural, impermanent. Our sickness is impermanent also. And all the factors that the Buddha remind us always to be aware, because they are our obstacles on the practice, which are craving for big things, craving for small things, craving for mental comfort. It's not material thing anymore, but mental, emotional comfort. Anger, resentment, delusion. Do you understand delusion mean? Somehow I don't understand myself, because that's kind of ignorance. And the Thai definition for that is you cannot distinguish things well, blur. You cannot recognize that, distinguish what's right and what's wrong, and what you should do and what you should not do. Arrogance. Are you arrogant, Will? Do you still have arrogance? Are you still arrogant? Well, every one of us still have. But it's obvious or very subtle underneath of us, especially when we have a big accomplishment. And Can you hold on a minute? So this kind of mental formation, we need to be aware. And doubt. I see that doubt, even we doubt about our loved ones' love for us. We doubt our friends' relationship. We doubt our colleagues. We doubt a lot. Even we doubt about ourselves also. You know, this kind of thing is it has different degree of doubt, and these things we need to be aware. And also in sensual pleasure, sensual desires. And the Buddha said, define that sensual desires is mean that when your eyes contact with the form outside, or we wish for, we desire, we feel happy, that's a sensual desire. Through our eyes, through our ears, to our nose, our tongue, our body. And he gave us similes, a sensual pleasure, just like a bone with a meatless bone smeared with blood, and the hungry and weak dog try to, gnawing, try to bite, but there's nothing he can eat. Or a grass torch goes against the wind. And he gives so many examples for essential pleasure that I loved so much. He gave the example that there's a vulture got a piece of meat, and he flew up, and he didn't aware that he wasn't aware that all the vulture and hawks and herons wants that piece of meat. So what will you do if so many attackers want to get of that kind of your food? They will kill you, so you better let it go. Right? So the Buddha give that example on like that. If you don't let it go, you will die, incur death, or you have a deadly suffering. So this kind of sensual pleasures provide much suffering and despair and a great danger. So and he said that sensual pleasure as a dream. Are we dreaming? Nah. If we get stuck with it, it means that it will, we don't have a very good end. And he very nice, it's very nice that he said that you should not kill, because the act of killing, when after the act of killing, you will blame yourself. And the wise one, having investigated, they will not like you. So you should they say the wise one having investigated would censor you for doing so, and all the affliction and suffering will arise during the killing act. And the Buddha said that the act of killing, after death, an unhappy destination is expected. So you know that if you do killing of living beings, you don't have after dying, after death, you will not have a happy destination. Unhappy destination is to be expected. The same like you use a false speech, and greed and spite and scolding, anger and irritation, arrogance, this kind of things. And it's related to the 5 mindfulness training about your speech, about your act. And he said that if you do this kind of act, you will not have a very happy destination after death. That's definitely. So what will you do? Do you have a choice? Yeah. Every one of us have a choice. So I hope that you make your choice. So after you checking all these kind of things, so the next thing you do is you write, from now until Christmas time, you write yourself a love letter. Have you ever written a love letter to yourself? Can you hear me? Will, can you hear me? It seems like my internet. Okay, all right.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I cannot see your video. That's why it's frozen. So to the end of the day, the year, you write a love letter to yourself. Okay, and in that love letter, you will write like this. This year, I will do. One side, you say, I will do more of this, and this side, I will do less of this. So you have 2 lists: do more and do less. Okay, so it's kind of resolution for your new year, and also in the way you express love to yourself. And during for next year, every day you promise yourself to remind yourself to be happy all day, every day. I know that each one of us have to face or to deal with difficulties, uncertainties, especially with the COVID-19 still on, and it's on and off. In Highland right now, we discovered that we have some people cross the border between Burma and Thailand without quarantine, without legal action. So these people have positive COVID-19. So it's spreading, but it starts from the north of Thailand and also in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City, they found out some. So there's something that we never know that, what happened. So that's why we still have challenges, we still have difficulties, we still have problems. But please remind yourself to be happy every day. And that's the way you save our life. And to be, for me, it's worthwhile to do. And if you can, every day, remind yourself to carry out the act of kindness, small things to yourself, to people around you. Because the act of kindness will heal your pain. It will, cool down your anger and resentment very much. And maybe I do this year that I will have a jar. I make a jar, a happy jar, and I would put a note with my favorite memories. Any day or any time that I have good memories, I will write on that note and I put in a jar, and I call it a happy jar. And when I'm sad, I will open it and I read it. Okay. This kind of thing that we can be creative. The practice needs, to be creative. You try different way. You put a keyword for a year. What you will do, like to be happy. Every day you see that word. You take a deep breath and smile to yourself. Be happy despite whatever happened of a day. You will keep that way for our life. So to my conclusion for my talk today, the more you practice, you will gain faith. Without faith, you cannot go very far, because just like I have faith on the path, I have faith in my Sangha, I have faith in the Buddha. So the more you practice, you can taste the Dharma, and you realize that whatever the Buddha taught us is from his wisdom, not from his intellectual knowledge. So give us a chance to do it. And when you have faith, you need to train yourself, because even though that we have all kind of seeds of love, seeds of happiness, seeds of compassion, but you need the work of training to water that seed. So in order, the day that seeds to become, will bloom. I have a small garden of roses that I planted last year, and one of my sister worked in the vegetable garden, she shared with me that Will taught her to cover the garden with haze, so it can keep the soil moist and soft all the time. So I did that. I make a thick level of haze. I put in, cover my roses tree. And can you imagine that they still alive? This is my first time that I plant the flowers. And my roses, when I cut it and put in my vase, it lasts longer than a week. And I know that it needs a lot of love and care. Even a day, I just go down to my garden, a small one, and I just touch the leaves and I talk to them. And when I see the bud, it's been bitten by a worm or an ant, I took them out. And can you imagine, the bud still bloom, even is wounded. And it touched me so much. And because, even the bud is got bitten and eaten, nearly 1/3 of the bud. But after I clear them, and it still bloom. And I see that, whatever you put a care and love in it, they will bloom. And our practice is the same. So the next thing is nourish ourselves with right food. Okay. If you have a chance to read the sutra, listen to a Dharma talk, reduce gossip, churching, complaining, conversations, and sharing what is really nourish us. Believe me, it works. And the next thing is you have to trust and believe in yourself. Do you trust yourself? So life is full of wonders, and everyone have a choice and the right to enjoy it. And I found a short video clip about gratitude. So will play for us to watch. And I hope that life is for everyone to enjoy and treasure it. So it's just like a gift for us for our new year. See, it's for me, the practice is not easy. If you think that you can grasp the practice overnight, you're a dreamer. But the thing is, we're not giving up, even we fell many times, like me. I failed so many times. But the thing is, we're not giving up because we have a choice. And I know that, every time I give a Dharma talk, it's also the time to remind myself. And if I want something that I still cannot do it well, I feel ashamed, yes. But, it's a way, always the way out. And be happy. Okay. So thank you so much and enjoy the video. So Will, can you do that?
Yes, so go. Brother David will help us. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I feel like I'm at a revival. This is great. It's great to be back in my old stomping grounds of San Francisco. When I graduated UCLA, I moved to Northern California, and I lived in a little town called Elk on the Mendocino coast. And I didn't have a phone or TV, but I had US mail. And life was good back then, if you could remember it. I'd go to the general store for a cup of coffee and a brownie, and I'd ship my film to San Francisco, and lo and behold, 2 days later, it would end up on my front door, which was way better than having to fight the traffic of Hollywood. I didn't have much money, but I had time and a sense of wonder. So I started shooting time-lapse photography. It would take me a month to shoot a 4-minute roll of film, because that's all I could afford. I've been shooting time-lapse flowers continuously, non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 30 years. And to see them move is a dance I'll never get tired of. Their beauty immerses us with color, taste, touch. It also provides a third of the food we eat. Beauty and seduction is nature's tools for survival because we protect what we fall in love with. It opens our hearts and makes us realize we are a part of nature and we're not separate from it. When we see ourselves in nature, it also connects us to every one of us because it's clear that it's all connected in one. When people see my images, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh my God." Have you ever wondered what that meant? The "oh" means it caught your attention. It makes you present, makes you mindful. The "my" means it connects with something deep inside your soul. It creates a gateway for your inner voice to rise up and be heard. And God is that personal journey we all want to be on, to be inspired, to feel like we're connected to a universe that celebrates life. Did you know that 80% of the information we receive comes through our eyes? And if you compare light energy to musical scales, it would only be 1 octave that the naked eye could see, which is right in the middle. And aren't we grateful for our brains that can, take this electrical impulse that comes from light energy to create images in order for us to explore our world? And aren't we grateful that we have hearts that can feel these vibrations in order for us to allow ourselves to feel the pleasure and the beauty of nature? Nature's beauty is a gift that cultivates appreciation and gratitude. So I have a gift I want to share with you today, a project I'm working on called Happiness Revealed. And it'll give us a glimpse into that perspective from the point of view of a child and an elderly man of that world.
When I watch TV, it's just some shows that are pretend. And when you explore, you get more imagination than you already had. And when you get more imagination, it makes you want to go deeper in so you can get more and see beautiful things. Like the path, if it's a path, it could lead you to a beach or something, and it could be beautiful.
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's given to you. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now, and the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you do nothing else but to cultivate that response to the great gift that this unique day is, if you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. We just think of the weather, and even of the weather we don't think of all the many nuances of weather. We just think of good weather and bad weather. This day, right now, is unique weather. Maybe a kind that will never exactly in that form come again. The formation of clouds in the sky will never be the same that is right now. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. A story that you could never fully fathom. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. We all go back so far. And in this present moment, on this day, all the people you meet, all that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. You turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. It's a gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. So these are just a few of an enormous number of gifts to which we can open your heart. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you. Just by your eyes, by your smile, by your touch, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So how's your heart feel right now? So I hope that you like the video. I loved it so much. So thank you very much. So we can listen to 3 of the bell to finish our talk tonight. Thank you.
So thank you,
Somebody
Suko.
will invite the bell.
Yes. So I will invite the bell. So dear friends, thank you for staying till now, and very grateful to Suko for that beautiful Dharma talk. So I'm just going to stop.